Welcome to Bigfoot
and the Bunny,
This is a couple's journey into the mysterious,
the unknown, and the paranormal.
I'm your host, Chris Carr.
And I'm your host, Kristen Johnson.
Together we are Bigfoot and the Bunny.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
We are Chris and Kristen of the show Bigfoot and the Bunny. And we haven't been on the air for quite a while. And we're back and we brought some friends with us. So, we're going to do, I think, right now, as of now, we're going to do shows for the month of October. So spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors and your co-workers, tell your relatives, your aunts and your uncles. And let them know.
You're silly.
It was just an uncomfortable, awkward silence for no reason at all, just because I felt like it.
Yeah.
We haven't got to do that in a long time. Well, it's really fun to do this, and we got some really good people with us. But we're going to talk about talking to spirits and what that's like, and maybe when we started doing it and when they started talking to us, and however that worked out. Because a little later, after this show, we're going to be on our friend Greg Kos's show, When Spirits Connect. And you've probably seen that or heard about it or seen it written about in some newspaper or trade magazine. It's a show where we all do Estes method. That is, we wear blindfolds and listen to sweeping radio bands and try to get into trance-like states to let spirits speak through us. And the others that are not currently doing that Estes method are asking questions and writing things down. And we're simultaneously having a couple people do this at a time to see if maybe there's some connection between them. And we've found sometimes it's the same spirit or it's different spirits talking, and sometimes it's gobbledygook and sometimes it's outright amazing. So we're going to do that. And I think a lot of this stuff comes down to being able to control your mind. And I think we'll talk about how we do that and what's entailed there. And we'll start off by looking at some optical illusions. And then we'll bring our guests on. This first optical illusion, there's two in this short video I'm going to play for you. The first one, we saw this in a movie.
We did.
And that movie was called Incantation, I think is the name of it. It's a horror movie. I think we saw it on Netflix. And it had a couple different optical illusions, including one that you're going to see in a minute in there. And the train one was in the movie. And when you look at the train in this, you'll notice that you can make the train go in the tunnel or out of the tunnel just with your mind and how you're looking at it. And also there's a certain three-dimensional aspect to the second illusion. But anyways, without further ado, which is a phrase that's only said on shows like this, by the way, let's play it. So were you able to do it, folks? Were you able to make the train go into the tunnel or come out and then change directions again? It can happen, and you're doing that with your brain. And hello to all the people out there Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, Lady Lone Wolf. Hello. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So let's bring on our guests without further ado. Yeah, all veterans of When Spirits Connect. So we're going to talk about that show and what we do on it and a little bit about ourselves. First, we'll bring out, well, ladies first, right? Let's go with Victoria Mundae. Hello.
Hello. Hi there. Squirrels.
Good evening.
Squirrels.
Squirrels.
Squirrel power. Go do that first. Okay.
The girls
Squirrel
got
girls.
squirrel
The
power.
girls got squirrels.
That's right.
Girls got squirrel. I like it. And
Thank you for having me tonight. This is fun. I was really excited.
Thank you for joining us.
For joining us.
This is great. This is a good time. And also with us is Becky Evans. Hello,
Hi, how you doing?
Doing
back.
great.
Doing wonderful. Welcome back.
Welcome
Oh
back.
yeah, definitely.
See you guys. Now we're going to squeeze in some more people. Next up is Emmie MacKenzie, otherwise known
Squirrel.
as UDX.
Squirrel.
Hello, Emmie. Good
Hold on. Becky, you're breathing into your mic.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like 80s horror movie.
Try it now.
Good now. Oh, no, I can't. No, I
Oh,
can't
wait,
talk.
no, you're just breathing into it. I didn't mean to put it
No.
over your head. I'm so sorry, Becky.
That's
Put
all
it
right.
under your chin.
Be mindful of it. No big deal. Moving right along. We'll bring out the master of ceremonies, Mr. Greg Kos.
I don't know if it's master or not.
I forgot he was with us.
What are you doing under that table over there?
I was underneath the table because the train kept on coming back at me.
The train kept
I don't know about anybody else, but I had it going both ways.
Yeah, all right. So you were able to do that. The
Yeah.
other optical illusion in that movie, which was only a fair to middling movie, was a good idea, but wasn't that great. Was a Ferris wheel, and you can make the Ferris wheel go back and forth, but I couldn't find it in time to throw it in a little clip. Did you like the lo-fi chill music?
Yes.
Yeah. That's our
Mhm.
speech. Lo-fi chill. Chill.
There's you got all these wonderful ladies in this room. We're like overwhelmed.
Thank you, sir.
We are very lucky. I know. I'm lucky.
Checks in the mail. It's OBTs.
We're supposed to say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mic's on? Oh.
So we're all going to be on your show later, Greg. And the thing we don't get to do a lot of times is talk about ourselves. I mean, we like to talk about ourselves, of course, because, we're all egomaniacs and stuff. No, we're not. But, we're constantly working on doing the sessions. So I thought tonight would be good for, those people that watch that show. Thank God for them.
Yes.
To be able to kind of meet everybody and talk about their backgrounds a little bit, talk about how they talk to spirits, what they do outside of that particular show. And, we'll get started. We'll start with you, Victoria. You have an unusual way of doing this. You don't wear the blindfold.
No, because I have makeup.
We got blindfolds that had little holes for the
What about my makeup?
Well, I don't have the expensive waterproof no run makeup. I'm Maybelline.
Because I cry a lot. That's why.
I
I
actually do cry a lot. So that's one reason why.
No,
I mean, this
no.
whole, since when was it? This is Wednesday? Since Saturday, I have just been crying. I mean, everything that's been happening, because I used to live in North Carolina, and just the eclipse, everything that's been going on. I've just been, it's been very emotional this last 4 or 5 days. But
I don't think you're the Lone Ranger.
I'm just, oh my God, we almost moved to Boone.
Not by far.
It's.
Oh,
It's-
are you Kristen? Is it affecting you too?
I've been sick, so I can't really tell. I'm down with the sickness. I've had like a cold for the past 3 days.
That's
So
it.
other than that, I've been okay, thank you.
I was just curious because I know about the other girls.
Oh, I'm normal.
Well,
just
I
saying
had
that,
to deal with it. The hurricane came through here a little bit, but I didn't have to deal with a lot of the winds as much, but they got majority of all the major stuff over there. But I did go through some of it
Now,
over here in Alabama.
Did you end up driving? I think that was
Yes.
coming at the last time we talked. We were on Greg's show last week. Did you end up having to drive that day, or were you able to?
Actually, no, I stayed home.
Yeah, so it did come more your way than you thought.
Yeah.
Going back to Victoria, my question for you is like you don't you wear the blindfold because of the makeup. Instead of that, you have a technique in it. I think a lot of times people watch these shows that are on Facebook and YouTube on their phones and stuff. They may not know exactly what you're doing. Did you want to maybe elaborate, let the audience know what it is you are?
Yes, I'm here in the South, and it's very, well, I'm in the Bible Belt. I'm like in the buckle of the Bible Belt, and if you do something that's not mainstream or not normal, people will look at you and you're the demon and you have 6 heads or something. But one thing I've always learned to do was, because I don't hear very well, so I've turned to, instead of listening, I've turned to like inner sight. And so I learned to scry when I was very young. I don't even really, I don't need the mirrors anymore. It's all about, looking into your third eye and your pineal gland and shifting up into a higher vibration, and you can start scrying. But what I do is I try and focus on my crystal ball. And so that's like really quick way of getting there. I think it was the last time I was on Greg's show, I was really deep into it. And, and I was out there in the woo woo, and my neighbor came home, and for some reason, his headlights hit my crystal ball, and it was just like an awakening, and it scared the bejeebies out of me. I think I jumped and started giggling. But when I looked back and I watched the show again, you couldn't see it at all. So I'm hoping that was his headlights that were in the crystal ball, and something really didn't pop out at me. But it's the same thing as like tuning in and listening, and just getting into that meditative state like everyone else does. So I just do it visually, kind of.
Yeah, no, you have earbuds on, which people also may not know because you have long hair and it goes over them. So I think sometimes you might be wondering what is she doing? So I thought it'd be a good idea to bring that up. So you're basically clearing your mind, and you're listening to the radio, and we're all listening to the radio. We go under, as we call it, effectively. For words, for some kind of substance with that isn't just like a car radio ad. And I think for us, a lot of times it's something different. It's almost in the mix of the white noise.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even need the words so much. They're actually on the radio.
Yeah, it's like you have the radio, and then you have like a sound that's underneath. And if you go down to that third level, there's messages in there, and it's usually the same voices that continue. And they go over multiple channels, multiple bands. And so since I don't hear very well, it's easier for me to focus, visually, I guess, or defocus is what it is.
You're getting into a theta state, and we talk about theta state a lot. And that does seem to be where a lot of the communications seem to happen, where it opens. And Becky, for you, I think you've done some training in this kind of area. I know you work with Sam Balchusis, working on psychic abilities and that sort of thing. And Sam is a great psychic. And could you tell us what you've learned and how it applies to doing the Estes method on Greg's show?
Oh yeah, it actually has started at a young age, and like her, I have grown up in the South as well. When I was young, I lived by myself. I was by myself, just out in the country, and I started seeing, I started seeing people myself, but it scared me, and didn't know how to hone it in, and I started shutting it off. So when I grew up and got to a point where I was like, you know what, I really want to find out what I saw back when I was younger, I started asking around. Then I met Sam. I met Sarah Lemos. I started just, really making friends with a lot of people and asking around, and they just opened me with, just, hey, we'll help you out. And they started helping me. And ever since, I have had the most wonderful experiences with them and showing me what I needed to do and the most
It almost,
safest way of opening up.
it almost sounds like they gave you the confidence to say, this is okay. It's all right that
Oh,
you
yeah.
see this, and you shouldn't question yourself.
Which I do sometimes. And, I think anybody does that is new to the opening up. Because when I did started opening up, I started opening up to the whole realm of all the clairs. Because I found out I had more clairs than I've ever known that I had. And now that I know that I got clairs, I'm learning about all of them. So
Do you find
now
that
that I do,
I'm sorry. Do you find that there's one in particular that stands out? And then we'll move around. Is there
the
a particular
feelings,
the
I
feeling?
feel more than anything.
So
That
like
is a big one for me.
like an empath, like it's an empathetic.
Oh, yes. I'm very sensitive, very feeling. Especially, there was one time we were on Greg's show and we were doing the Estes method, and there was Diana was up under. I think Emmie was on the show as well. I think Emmie can contest. Everybody was dumbfounded that day. I felt something behind Diana. Diana didn't even know. At the same time, I don't know if y'all were on that show as well, but it was like as soon as Diana said something, I said something to something behind Diana and said, "You leave her alone." And she said, "Stop, don't touch me." Everybody just was so shocked. And it was like, that's the feelings I get. It's like I know something's behind her. I knew it was male. That's the feelings I get.
Interesting. That's excellent.
Never know the names. I never get names. I just know it's a male or female.
Hard to get the names. I agree. Sometimes they just pop up, but it's not like they're telling it. It's almost like it just comes out or something. Emmie, how about yourself? Like where did your psychic skills come about, and how did you get into this stuff?
Basically, just like Becky when I was younger, and I grew up in a haunted town, very haunted, small town. It was a gold mining town and stuff, Northeast Oregon, Baker City, where, there's a lot of history there. And I would see things when I was younger. Did they scare me? Probably, yeah. I want to say they did, but as I got older, I kind of like just like Becky did, just kind of put it on the back shelf. I was getting married, wanted to have a family, so I felt like if I just put a block up, they're not going to follow me. That that don't happen. They do. And then we had bought this house, and probably the first 5 years of this house, I kept seeing this shadow, a little shadow peeking around the corner. And I didn't say anything to my family because I didn't want them to think I was crazy. And one day, me and Jay were sitting in the other room and watching TV. No kids, nothing here. And I just happened to look over and look back. He goes, "What'd you see?" I'm like, "Nothing." He goes, No. I know what you saw." I'm like, "No, you didn't." He goes and mimics it, and he was also seeing the same thing. And he never said anything to me for the first 5 years.
Wow.
But still, I would still try to keep stuff back. Things would still happen. But I decided I still wanted to get answers. So when my kids all grew up, I decided I wanted to travel and find answers. And with COVID, I noticed a lot, not just me, a lot of people, gifts started coming out more. I just tell people I'm just an empath, but there'll be times I'll be in chat and I'll blurt out a name. And then somebody will be like, "That's my husband." And I'll say, like, what about the number 3? He passed away 3 years ago. And then as I'm sitting there, like there was a lady on my show. She was just coming up asking questions, but her husband wanted to come through. And I'm asking her about a pocket knife because I'm seeing what he's seeing. And I said, it's in his desk in his left side. And she got so scared she dropped off the panel for a little bit because it was really shocking to her. And to me, it's shocking too. It's just something I can't do. A lot of people out there think we're crazy. It just does. And so just other things happen too. But that's probably my big thing that's been actually coming out more and more.
Interesting. So you find that your skills, your superpowers have developed over time, of course, right? And maybe doing Greg's show is helpful. It's almost like a practice.
I think so.
I think that I think
when you're around like-minded people, I think you're able to open up and be yourself more and stuff. So
Absolutely.
Mr. Kos, Greg, what got you doing this Estes method thing to begin with? I'm sure we've talked about this in the past, but for maybe those who don't know, what got you going with it, and how did you bring your own spiritual background to the interwebs?
It pretty much all started out at the Stanley. And then from the Stanley, it was at Gettysburg. And it was the point that there were people that were at the top of the hill when I was halfway down the hill by myself. And I had my gear down there. And they were arguing over what was being said on the spirit box. And that was the most frustrating thing, that for the first about 3 years of investigations, that I couldn't understand how people that were actually going ahead and picking up words and that from spirit would go ahead and question the fact of what they were saying in that way and arguing. And there's no way about it. It shouldn't be allowed. This is something that is serious. It's serious to the point where we're using our gifts to go ahead and be able to talk to other people. And they're telling us what to say. And when you put that on the line and you compare it to what I did in the beginning, I can understand why I did what I did. I mean, it just got to the point where it was a joke. I don't take it that way. I never have. I think that, if you put your time in and you do your maintenance, which would be meditations before you would start to get ready to do a session. Like from now till when we start up, I'm going to have to try to get another one in, but that's my way. It doesn't mean that everybody else does it the same way. But what's interesting about it is the fact that the more that you seem to want to communicate with them, and if you're sincere, the more they're going to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's times that they could just flat out knock you right down, and they tell you things that you're sort of shocked about, but and it's not just all one sex. It comes mixed. So yeah. That's interesting too, because there's certain ones that seem to have an issue. Okay, they come across and you can hear it in their voice, like they're worried about something, or they're not happy, or they're afraid of something. And you can go ahead and just take that line of questioning and take it right to them. So that's what I find interesting about it. That's why I continue to do it.
There's a message there to even begin with. Like, that has to play some sort of role in this sort of spiritual ecology. I think that we're all trying to figure out, like, how does this really work? which I think is the driving force for a lot of people interested in paranormal in general. Is there really life after death? Show it to me. Because we're brought up to be skeptics. Even if we had our own personal experiences, we may question that and just say, well, I was a kid. I was just having a dream. Or
I was going to say, people, 2024 is a little more open about it. It's not like back in the day, because I grew up in the 70s and stuff, and it was like you really didn't speak of it, because whether your parents are okay with it, just the outside people, and especially when you're in a small town, even though everybody knows there's something going on, nobody wants to speak of it because you're a crazy little kid that has an imaginary friend.
That's right. That's right. It was the same for us, and where we grew up, and we're in the same bracket as yourself.
Tell anybody that, because people think you're nuts. The white coat.
The other part of it that I thought would make more sense too was the fact that we go over long distances, and we also sort of control our environment compared to what would happen on an investigation. And I find that part, the control end of it. So the people that are doing the sessions are at ease and they're comfortable compared to if you went ahead and did it in a haunted house with 30 people in it. You're chomping at the bit and they're not letting you do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they get turned off.
The group energy in a kind of a comfortable zone too, on a kind of investigation where you've got a lot of people, particularly like a public investigation where there'll be 30 people walking around and people with walkie-talkies and things going on in every room around you, right? It's hard to kind of have that focus, that get into that theta state that we were talking about, right? And it doesn't really happen so easily because you just got a group of people. Some of them are noisy, some of them are not on the same page, and everybody's got a different sense about what's going on anyways. I think I was going to say, growing up, like, having experiences, doubting yourself, being skeptical, you have to have, I think, and I want to know what you guys all think, some sort of belief, though, that it could happen. That I think people that are very, very skeptical have less experiences. Not that they can't have one, but I think that belief system opens the possibility of that communication. What do you think?
I'll tell you a true story. One of my best friends, when we met in Florida, he was a skeptic. And, it always happens when there's no cameras around. I had my REM pod, had my SB7, and my spirit box. I couldn't even think of it. That's my SB7. Okay. Yeah, my REM pod, K2 and SB7. And both his parents had passed, and also his brother. And as we're sitting there, talking, we had it on, and somehow he started bringing up his mom. And when he would bring up his mom, it was like the purple light was light up on the REM pod. That's like the hardest one to light up. And then he would talk about his father. The blue one would light up. And he's like, I'm not really believing in this. So, and when he was talking about his brother, it was like the green one would light up. And we'd ask questions and ask them, his parents and sibling, to answer, light it up, and they would. So he's like, no, he didn't believe in that. Then we turned on the spirit box, and it's going backwards. And he goes, okay. He goes, I'm going to ask the question only me and my brother knew. And so he asked the question. It's something that they did when they were young. Got into the parents' closet on Christmas before they woke up, opened up a box. It was a game, Nintendo or Atari. I can't remember which one it was, but it was back in the 70s.
Back in the day.
And it came across, I believe it said Atari. And me and two other people were like, we said that, and he was just thrown back with that. He goes, nobody knew that. So.
Wow. Yeah.
So he's kind of, I mean, You can't make that stuff up. And that was the first time I actually met him in person. So I knew nothing.
Wow.
At the same time, we need a certain amount of discernment. I mean, not everything is a ghost. I don't think anybody in this panel thinks everything is a ghost. I know certainly Kristen does.
No. Everything in your mind debunks, goes to, what was that? Gravity, anything.
That's right. And we always say too,
And
like
then-
when we talk to people, right?
Yeah.
Like what happens and they tell us like the most ridiculous story, even though we've got the most ridiculous story to tell, still, the first thing in your mind goes off. And I think it's okay to feel like this. You just almost doubt it, like, oh, you're probably just waking up or you're tired.
Yeah.
Just
There was a lady.
a little doubt in your head, right? But at the same time, you have your own story that's just completely wackadoodle, and if you have to be accepting. But we always catch ourselves and say, oh yeah, all right. Try to calm that little voice down, that instant doubter. Do you guys have that experience too? Or?
Oh yeah. I used to do ghost tours in Old Town Spring, and so we would gather at a certain place, and they had just put fresh manure out. Texas hot summer manure, not the best thing to smell. And this lady walks up to me and she's, I smell death. I'm like, no, ma'am, I think you're smelling the manure that they just. No, I know what death smells like. I'm like, okay. And she's. I said, well. And I was going to show her some pictures on my phone, trying to get them psyched up before the tour. I was like, I have some pictures of full body apparitions I've taken. Would you like to see them? And she's like, oh, that's nice. But look at my orb pictures. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. You're that person, huh? I smell death and look at my orb lady. Okay. So just don't forget to tip me later, But, you deal with those kind of people, and you don't really know for sure, but for sure.
Right.
So just let them have it's like I was telling Emmie the other day, it's like, people are in elementary school, then they go to first grade, second grade, third grade, and some go to college and get the doctorates. And when people are in kindergarten or first grade, you don't want to tell them, oh, you're totally wrong. You're totally wrong. You just got to let them evolve and find their own path and find their own way. And eventually, hopefully they'll find the truth.
Right. Well, what exactly that truth is, I don't know that anybody can totally tell you.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're fascinated and keep doing stuff.
As we get older and we become like more OGs, we know what to debunk and stuff like that, know what to look around. We take action. Like if there's something or the door moves, a lot of us will go to the older people will go to the door, look behind the door, try to debunk it and stuff. Where I've seen other people like, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Yeah, that was your foot, I just, you want to be nice because they're all excited and stuff. And I get it. But then too, you sugarcoat things, then it kind of makes it a little harder for them too.
It's a fine line, but you have to believe in yourself a little bit too.
Because they don't want, you don't want them to think that you think they're lying. And because that can really,
you come across really bad if you're looking at them.
Yeah.
Sure, you did. That kind of thing. And
especially for us, that our parents kept saying, oh no, it's your imagination. You don't want to do that to somebody else. You want to let them have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if everybody's had a spiritual experience like that to some degree. I've seen a ghost.
I had that experience. We did an investigation and we had like 30 or 35 people at a saloon of all the places. So how the feelings are going to go. How the people that are under the influence are going to go ahead and start to make the comments. And I decided that I was going to start to do an Estes. And I was all by myself, but I was close enough to everybody at the bar that they could hear what I was saying. I had no idea. I'd never been to this bar before. I did, it was just like, just do your work, and I started doing it. And I mentioned two different things. And there were two ladies on the other side of the bar that I didn't even see their faces. But one of the things that I mentioned was a code word that they used between each other that told both of them that this was their last drink because, in a bar, if you go ahead and announce, you're going home, you get another 10 drinks in front of you. If people start buying you drinks. So I said that, and then they started having that look on their face from what I heard from some of the other team members, that they started getting a little unsure about themselves. And then the second one was the name of the girlfriend to one of them. And both of these girls worked at the bar, but they were off that night. And it was the name of the girlfriend that passed like 4 months previously.
Holy
And
shit.
with that, they both got up and walked out. And, I had no idea, and I never do what I say 99% of the time, unless it's something in the very beginning. And it was like, I just go with blind faith now. I ask for them to lead me, and that's where I go. And I'm sure that everybody that's here with me feels the same way, because it's something that you're meant to do. They're helping you accomplish the goal.
I
And
think
if it's
the idea of practice makes perfect does play a role in this. What sort of practices, because we're already getting here, we've got 15 more minutes before we take a break and go on to your show, Greg. What kind of things do you guys do when you're not on the show to increase the ability? Like, do you just talk to spirits by yourself? Hey, let's start with Kristen. Kristen, what do you do? Because I know what you do. They don't.
Okay. Do with what? Like,
Wait, I'm sorry. I know you're typing.
yeah,
Is
like-
it talk to spirits? Remember, like
a regimen or?
well, not even so much a regimen or practice per se, unless you guys do have a practice that you do follow. Like when we first started talking about doing paranormal stuff, and you were having activity in your house, right? And like, hey, I think I got a ghost in the house, and what did I say? And you still do that.
Just talk to them.
I said, talk to it, right? And you do. And you do that. That was years ago, and you still do that stuff where you just, be talking. Maybe you're doing something else and cleaning in the kitchen. Or
Yeah,
something, wiping
I
the
do that
counters,
all the
and
time.
you're like, well, excuse me. Or something.
I do. I do
Huh?
say stuff like that. Like, no, please don't put your hand on my shoulder or so, something like that. Poke me or something on the butt. It's happened.
How about you guys, Victoria?
a butt poker.
Yep.
Are you calling me a butt poker? Yeah.
No.
Greg. No, that's happened to me a lot too. Like I was talking to another lady a couple of weeks ago, and we decided that the people in the spiritual realm, like the booties, so they're all about that. But yeah, I think one of the things I do that's a little bit different than the other people I know is I treat them like they are people, because at one time or another they were. I'm not scared of them. I mean, I don't think anything's ever really scared me. It might have shocked me one time because it's been in my face, and it's like, oh, but it's like, hello, what's going on? It's like I was talking to Emmie yesterday, and we were working on something, and I went, oh, somebody's here. Okay, he's standing behind me, and I just kept on working. It's just like, okay, but it's, don't be afraid. I mean, I have so many examples of where I just spoken to someone just like they are a normal person, and it's the responses that you get back are really funny. And, the EVPs, because I do drawings too, like when I see something, I'll sketch it out and draw it and do all that kind of stuff. And just treat them like a normal person, I guess, not a spirit.
Those are people too. So I like that.
That's
I think
right.
there are definitely good tidbits in this conversation. Becky, what do you do like in your free time? Do you speak to spirits, and what kind of spiritual practice do you have in regards to the deceased, I guess?
Well, actually, I pretty much do a lot of reading. I have a lot of books on it. Meditate. I do pull tarot and oracle, to try to, hold myself in to focus. I do a lot of meditating on flame because that's the way I focus in on things.
Like with a candle?
Sometimes
Okay.
with a candle because that's the way I focus, and sometimes it answers me. So that's the way I do it. Yeah.
That's
That's
very
great.
cool.
Yeah.
And kind of witchy. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Emmie? You're on mute, I think. Are you? Yeah,
I'm muted. I'm like, what was the question? Squirrel.
Squirrel.
What sort of things do you do to communicate with spirit when you're not on the show or in an investigation, when you're just hanging out?
I really don't. I don't know why.
Do they talk to you? Do you find that you have do you have like a group of spirits that you're familiar with talking to?
Yeah, no, they'll come and like whisper in my ear.
phone.
I don't always hear what they're saying and stuff. I think there's just spirits that hang around here and linger. They don't really tell me what they want. It's when I go and I travel is when I get more communications through the spirits. I don't like to know about a place. So if there's somebody doing a tour, I'll walk away and go start investigating on my own because I want the spirits to tell me what really happened, not, what this person said and that person. And I want to probably say about 8 out of 10 times the spirits, told me what was going on. And some people can relate with it and some people can't. But I think when I travel more or I'm outside my home, I'm more susceptible to them coming at me. Does that make sense?
It
Yes,
does.
it does.
I think my home is more of my safe place where,
Yeah. Like you put up boundaries.
Yeah.
And it might be just like a psychic boundary.
We got little ones that come in and out of here and stuff, and that same shadow that's been here for 20 plus years. But when I do the Estes method and the mask and stuff, I really start to hone in with what I'm listening to, and then the spirits will start coming in at me.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's excellent. Yeah. That's excellent. I think so. I hear this said a lot too. Some people that are very psychic, or their problem is turning it off. They're just pestered. It's hard to get those boundaries where they can have a safe space to collect their thoughts.
Yes.
See, I have enough problems. Like I can't watch the news. Never have, even since I was a little kid. I get that I'm really sensitive when it comes to stuff like that. Going into malls and hospitals, I'm really sensitive to that.
Yeah. Hospitals in particular, cemeteries too can have.
I think that's why I'm kind of lingering. I'd rather go to a cemetery than a hospital because at least more of them are more at peace at the cemetery.
Right.
Where a lot of them had gone through so much being in the hospital or passing away in the hospital, and they're still lost.
Yeah. And there's a lot of tragedy there where it's kind of over by the time you get to the cemetery. I find that sense of peace thing. We talk about that a lot. We like that a lot, actually, that sense of peace and tranquility that comes along with burial grounds. So I've sat on benches in cemeteries and then gotten a feeling, not even been consciously aware that it's a bench that somebody would be mourning at, like this depressive, sad feeling. And I'm like, wow, and then I realize, I'm probably in a place where a lot of people have cried, that sort of thing. So that's really interesting. Greg, how about yourself? I know you meditate and have a meditation. Do you meditate like on a schedule, like every day? Some people get up in the morning and meditate for a number of minutes or before bed. Do you do anything like that?
I have like 3 or 4 different meditations that I use. Some are longer than others. It depends on how I manage my time for that, and that helps me out. As far as the spirit is concerned and the meditations, I've found I'm still very attracted to military that have passed, and I hold no bars as far as going to places that have that same kind of atmosphere. And I'm attracted to that end of it for some reason, more than others. And I find that to be sort of calming for myself.
Comforting.
If I'm comforting, that's a good, thank you. Because I get jumbled up talking about that kind of thing, but it always meant so much when I came home that I was so confused. And then it was at one of Robin Terry's events, and there's another psychic medium, and I won't mention her name, but she came up to me and we were talking, and she says, "Do you know you have 5 guys with you? 5 Army guys." And she says, "And I see you're down on one knee and you've got your hand on your forehead and you're going back and forth with your head." Like, no. So I've always constantly working on that part, because they're there not only for me, but they're there for everybody else, so I can pass the word. And that's why I find this part to be extremely interesting. And I'm still trying to find a way to make that connection and be told that it is one of them. And then I think it's all going. I'm going to become a bag of cats, because it's like, it's a culmination of all those thoughts and the things that happened and everything all rolled into one big ball. Then when one of them talks to me, it's all just going to explode, and I think it's going to be a release.
When did you start? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I want to hone in kind of like what Greg said, where he feels more closer to military and stuff. I communicate with a lot of children. And so I think each of us has some kind of different ability. Literally, it's more children than anything. I don't know. Maybe it's because I know the children, a lot of people don't see them, or some people are actually afraid of the children because they don't know if they're real children or not. They could be in disguise, people say. But majority of my evidence is with communicating with little kids.
Well,
Maybe that's the 12-year-old in me.
No, I was going to say, you put off a mom aura, because I was the same way when I was doing the ghost tours. I was Girl Scout leader, I carpool everything. And I would joke and say, I have mom butt, and so that's why the little kids were attracted to me, because I look like a mom, and so there's always little children around, and there's like an innocence that you put out, and a protectiveness. And I think that attracts a lot of them.
Yeah, I think our thoughts make a difference too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
in some way, maybe they would be more drawn to you if that's something.
Going with happy, positive, laughing, joke around kind of before you go in the place. And I think that makes, it's not your turn. It makes spirits more at ease. Because I know if I go into a room and people are talking and chatting away, then I'm like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool. That's the kind of stuff I do to them. Or I don't do to them, but you know what I mean. I try to joke around with people and let them know I joke around too.
Greg mentioned the military, to be on his mind, and maybe that draws it. When we had a hitchhiker follow us home, and we had our own kind of attachment issue here, it was not thinking about it that got rid of it. That's what we had to do. We had to forget all this stuff for a little while.
Squirrels went elsewhere.
Yeah,
Do it.
yeah.
So you didn't pay any attention to them?
Nope.
Weirder it got.
You had to just blink your mind out. No matter what you heard, you'd have to do some other way.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it.
At that time, we were pretty obsessed with the data we were getting. So we were putting a lot of thought energy into this, and it seemed to manifest out of that and became even more real as time went on and our obsession grew.
Well, how about the fact that since you have been sort of like the moderator to all this, how about yourself?
Well, I do meditate, and I've been into that for a long time, and there's different ways I do that. Sometimes it's just like breathing exercises, that sort of thing. Other times I use things like hemi-sync, which I've talked a lot about on this show, and binaural beats to put myself in a mode into that theta state, right? I have a lot of sleep issues. It's hard for me to relax. I have restless legs. I'm a terrible person to sleep with.
Yes.
I think we all probably have that in common. Like,
Yeah. Do you have that too? Yeah.
yeah,
I have
Victoria
sleep
and I compare,
apnea.
we sleep like 2 to 3 hours and then we're up. But I have the restless legs. I have everything.
Okay.
But I do go into sleep paralysis.
That's where I was going. Exactly. I've had some really interesting and very vivid sleep paralysis events. And that whole idea too of like astral projection and that sort of thing is something that, affected me a lot growing up as well. As an introduction.
Can I ask you how many times? At least twice a month, I'm in a sleep paralysis. I'll wake up and I can't move, and then I just gotta lay there. Yeah, I've ever since I can remember, like I was 6 years old, and I've gone to doctors and stuff like that. My parents took me to doctors, and there's nothing. I know I got neurological problems, but there was nothing they can actually find to why I would go into a sleep paralysis.
Wow.
See, I'll try to intentionally put myself in that mode,
Really?
into that paralysis. Yes, to be in that, to try to have like a waking dream and that sort of thing, lucid dreaming,
Right.
and that's all very related. I was taking a sleep med for a while, right? Because I really do have a hard time sleeping, and I forget the name of it.
Ambien.
No,
Ambien, I'm on that.
wasn't Ambien.
No,
it
it
was
was
something else.
no.
Zolpidem.
It wasn't Zolpidem,
Trazodone.
the generic of
No.
that, because I've taken Ambien. No, it was something else. And one of the warnings on the label of the bottle was sleep paralysis, which I thought was really interesting. And sure as shit,
Yeah.
it really happened. And I was having it a lot. I was having it like several times during the week. And Kristen was witness to some of this.
I have,
some
like,
of these things. I'm getting up,
I've got to record this shit.
but I'm not really up. I'm in bed. She's next to me.
And your eyes are moving.
And I'm having this like
Covered.
wicked experience, and I'm looking at her,
He's-
my physical body, like
Yeah.
yeah.
And his mouth is like slowly
good,
moving, and you can hear him go, "Help me, get me out,
Get me up, wake me up.
wake me
Oh
up."
my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm having
And I'm like,
Wow.
man.
past experience.
But and I'm trying
On the other
very
side.
gently, and yeah.
Yeah, and I'm in the room, and I can
Dude.
see Kristen. I can see things in the room.
You hear things.
I'm moving like super
Yeah.
slow, and
Yeah.
like fighting this thing, trying to move. And there's other things in the room with us. So yeah, no, I get you with the sleep paralysis. And
Do you have like animals that sleep with you? I know my dog will try to lick my face, and it's just like the worst thing is I can't move my head to. And my dog's got stinky breath. I'm just saying, I can smell that stuff, but yeah, it can get that. She's like, oh, yeah. So
Well, what's really remarkable about this is the fact that we have some more people too. And I think, and I'm just going to throw this thought out here. This is a good way to help people as far as what we're doing. And if they have any interest in it, why don't we do like a show a month
Oh,
and vary the people up and just go ahead and give our ideas out to them as far as how we handle the Estes method, spirit box communication, anything, how we make ourselves aware of what's going on, how we ask to be made aware, how we ask to share our gifts with somebody else. And maybe that will blossom into something because of what you started tonight, Chris.
Yeah, well, we can definitely talk about that. Maybe we'll do a little more of that on your show when we're doing When Spirits Connect. Now, I know you guys wanted to take a little break before we go to that show. So
we still got time.
We got 25 minutes.
but we do have something.
And we have garlic.
Greg.
So I don't know.
Oh my God. Let me run out to the garage.
Garlic.
Welcome back, Jeff.
So next week, or do we want to eat the garlic?
No,
Now.
garlic now.
All right. All right.
I've been waiting.
So,
Emmie, you should try binaural beats when you sleep. You can have them when they're just like rainfall or something, and it puts you into a deep sleep. And
Okay.
you can find them on YouTube, and they're like 12 hours long. You know, the videos.
Okay.
Just keep,
you
find
gotta
the one
use
that doesn't have the
headphones
commercial.
binaural,
Yeah.
because the pitch is slightly different from one ear to the other, and it's that difference, and it goes to a frequency that helps lure you into that theta state. I just going to take a minute and say hi to everybody. I haven't done anything with the audience tonight, and I'm so sorry, guys. We got to forget what it's like to do this. We've been off for like almost a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Welcome back.
So thank you.
Thank you again.
And hello to Jeff Hulk Hemp, like that. Linda Judd. And that's an interesting comment about Willie Strieber's book, The Key. The key he referred to as a master. Strieber talked about the need to put all thoughts out of mind so that spirit voices can be heard. He used the example of putting your thoughts into a box and let yourself be detached from each thought. Yeah, and that is like meditation right there, Linda. Thank you for the comment. David Vingman, hello. RMS Queen Mary Girl, hello, greetings. Thank you for joining us. Tom McNicholas says melatonin actually makes me kick.
Yes.
How about you, Emmie? I have no luck with the
can't.
melatonin. It's terrible. It doesn't
I
help me.
can drink. Also, another thing, I can drink so much caffeine, and it doesn't affect me.
It doesn't affect me either.
This is an energy drink here.
Yeah, and I can do that before I go to bed. And I'd say I don't know if it's the adult ADHD in me or what, but it's just crazy. A lot of us who are having sleep issues, the caffeine. No, I'm joking. No, we can actually sleep on it. I mean, we can drink it and just go to bed.
Yeah, if I'm really tired,
to come back.
I'll have a cup of coffee, and actually sends me backwards. I'll end up sleeping. It's weird.
May I suggest just a little shot of tequila, and don't slam it back like you're 12 years old or 20 years old, but sip it because it is like a muscle relaxant. And I have to.
Do you have
my back.
You should see the tequila hat I got my husband today for his birthday. I'm just saying. I know.
See, I have
coming up.
See, I have sleep apnea, but on top of that, I have a slight case. They told me I'm on that realm of narcolepsy during the day.
Oh wow!
But on top of that, I have insomnia, so I can't really go to sleep at night. So I'm just all messed up.
Wow.
No,
you're in the club.
That's why I got to take things.
So it's like I don't know what to do, and I'm exhausted all the time. But they still can't figure out what's wrong.
Yeah, I hear you there. Diagnosed with severe sleep deficit.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
You try the binaural beats too. You just need something to help you to relax. Binaural beats and tequila.
I did the 8-hour one and had it on my head the whole night and just listened to it.
I've made a couple of binaural beat soundtracks to meditate.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I recorded like some sounds over here in the river. Greg's got a copy. And I put it in where they were synced, and I think it was at 6 hertz, 5 or 6 hertz was the difference between the pitches. And it makes a binaural beat.
Before you do this, you were going through the comments.
Oh yes, let me finish up with the comments real fast. Karen McDaniel, we're going investigating in November. What's going on? What's happening? Jenna in the stars, hello. What else we got here? Mr. Bob Brunell, of course, going with us. Karen, what's happening?
I hope Bob's doing okay. He hasn't been doing that good.
Hope you're feeling a little better.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned this investigation that we have coming up may be his last investigation.
Yeah.
Investigation 13 is with us tonight. David Hope, hello. PDX, I think you know a lot of these people.
No, they just follow me around. You can see them too.
Groupies.
The RMS Queen Mary girl.
And
That's
Marie.
Andrea.
Hello,
Is-
Aunt
now,
Marie.
Is she related? Does she know? Now I can't think of her name.
She lives in Washington. I don't know.
Okay, but the one that I'm talking about is the one that used to be. She's part of that too, but she was part of Ghost Research Society.
No, not that one.
What's her name? Do you know her?
I don't know her name, but that one
Okay.
right there, the Queen Mary. No, she's up in Washington.
Yeah. So
Mort Ali is here tonight as well. Barbara Woodbury Spear. Hello, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. Haven't seen you in a
What's
while.
going on? It's so good to be back and see you guys. Carol Garcia, Joanne Stewart,
No.
and Victoria Monday's here.
Or am I?
Dark Horse
His
Paranormal
lordship.
here in the chat too.
what?
Yeah. His lordship is here too.
Oh,
PDX
Yep.
Paranormal. Yes.
We're live.
So,
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Greg,
No.
Jenna and the Stars said that she had ear reconstructive surgery on Monday.
Really?
Yeah, she told she was specifically talking to you.
Okay.
yeah.
Thank
She said, "Hey, Greg, she had ear reconstructive surgery."
Wow. You're gonna be able to hear really good now?
She can't hear you. Speak up.
Well, I'm just going by what she said in the comments.
You know what? I hope there's everybody in this room is capable of handling their inefficiencies or their handicaps.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I know.
I would only wish her the best.
She's a
Yes.
good girl. She's I've known
Okay.
her for
I hope I
like
got it
6
all.
or 8 years. So yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Let me just tell everybody there's a story here, and in my hand is a
Clove of garlic.
it is a clove of garlic. And this garlic came from Mr. Gregory Kos's yard. We've had an annual tradition of Greg grows garlic, and he sends us some. And
You should put you two up
we
up
eat
here
it
and
on-
put us down below or something.
actually, what we should do next time is we should give everybody that's on this chat a clove of garlic that they have to eat. And then we'll see who the winners are and who the losers are.
Okay.
So this is our second annual, and I am
Yeah.
not going
Second
to
annual.
do it. Just
So-
Chris and Greg.
We're gonna attempt
Second
to
annual.
eat it raw.
I normally I would clean this. I would make sure that most of it's off. You ready?
You guys ready? I want you to raw dog it.
Hence the knife.
Can't
say
you
a
just
prayer.
swallow?
Say a prayer for both of us. No, we're gonna chew it up.
Yep, got you.
Yeah, I gotta chew it.
And if you can take that root off the bottom.
Get a little bit
I already
Take
did
the
it.
root off.
Yep, I got some water. I got
You
some
know
water.
what?
I love
You got
garlic,
water?
but I can't do that.
Well, it's
Okay,
gonna
you
be
ready,
good for
guys?
your blood pressure.
It's
We're
really
gonna
strong.
count.
It's the strongest garlic.
Go
Okay.
3,
Merry Christmas.
2, 1.
All right.
Chew it.
Why are you?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh, my mouth is watering just watching them.
You need some tequila to wash that down. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
Mm.
When you're done, you gotta go. We gotta make sure it's all swollen.
I don't
Look
think
under your
last year's was this high.
I hurt. My tongue is burning.
Wait, did you eat all yours?
I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. Ah, baby. Wow.
You're
Wow.
going to be asthma projecting, right?
Man, he's your whole face is gonna sound like garlic. You're gonna wake up in the morning and you're gonna be like, ah.
Oh my god. I feel like I just ate Italy.
Oh wow.
And Greg's like, yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic. All right. Well, on that note, Greg, do you want to tell everybody how
Are you done already?
Where's Spirits?
Yes.
Connect? Oh,
yeah,
you're
he's
still
not. You beat him.
I thought he was done. Yes, tell us why you're chewing.
Yes.
Garlic, raw garlic. Huh?
The vampire for sure.
Put a little pinch between your cheek and your gum. That's how you do it down here.
It's a new Salem slot.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see.
Wow.
Yeah. So no
I feel
vampires
bad
for
for-
y'all.
Are you totally done with yours, Chris?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I chewed all of
It's gone.
How hot was it?
Hey, go.
it.
I don't know what
Like-
you're doing
like
with
it
that
was
garlic,
morning.
Greg, but oof,
It was great.
yeah.
We
I've
love
been
it. We
cooking
cook with it. Yeah.
I cook with it like almost every night.
His was chewy.
Yeah. Unless he's, I don't know. I peeled this really well, so hopefully he's not just eating the peels with it. Okay, so Tom McDickle says it kills bad bacteria. Well, Tom,
Us.
he was just breathing on me, and that's not.
So
what
does
he's doing right
ginger, right? With sushi, the reason they
Yeah.
serve sliced ginger is because it kills bacteria in your gut.
Well,
Yeah.
when you compare this to wasabi,
Yeah.
I think this is hotter.
What do you
It's up there. Depends on who made the wasabi. Really. Where we go, sometimes it's hotter. Your mileage can vary. So this has been a lot of fun, and like I said, we're going to be on for the month of October.
Yep.
So please, if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe.
please?
You can do it, Emmie. You can do
Oh,
it. Please, because we
Still going?
oh,
and we want to give a shout out to the Paranormal United Network,
Yes. Thank you,
best
guys.
network
Love you guys.
ever. You guys are awesome, and we love being a part of that. And glad to finally be able to do that again.
it's a great network.
We're all going to be shifting over to When Spirits Connect in just a very short time at the top of the hour. So, what's the best place to watch that right now, Mister?
You can watch it off of Supernatural Inc. Design or Supernatural Inc. Network. You can see it there. It's on YouTube. It's on most of all the Supernatural Inc. pages, I think, out of all three of them.
Which is the
And
staffers,
it's on my page too. I put it on my page.
makers of fine supernatural equipment.
And
Paranormal.
and it comes highly recommended that everybody should try to do this at least once as an adult. Is take a clove of garlic and do this. Chris is my partner in crime when it comes to that.
Yeah. So
Everybody else in my family, they see me do it and their eyes cross.
my eyes are crossed. You just can't tell. I got the glasses on. That's why I wear them.
Whew!
I got
So-
2 glass eyes.
You got 2 glass eyes? I want to say thank you very much for having us on.
I want to thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You guys are great.
No,
Thank you so much for joining us. And it was kind of last minute we put this together and just kind of decided we wanted to do
I
that.
hope it came out the way you wanted it to.
Oh.
This was a blast.
Yes,
We had
thank
so
you.
much fun.
It was perfect. Thank you.
I know we want to thank everybody in the audience tonight. Hopefully I mentioned you.
We had
You
a
got
great crowd.
people joining us.
I was even behaving. I was
Yeah.
promised Pepsi and
Like you said to
Cookies.
Chris. Like you said to Chris
Last
last
time I saw Tommy McNichols, I think, was at Joliet Prison.
This has been a lot of fun. We'll be back next Wednesday with special guests yet to be advertised because of contractual reasons.
hey, they're spontaneous. There you go. That's the best way to be.
Yeah, you should see the rider for these people. They're specials, candy, and extra garlic. No,
Right.
just kidding. We don't know who we're gonna have on, but we'll be back. And thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you
Thank you
guys.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
I
So
need
much.
a big kiss.
Optical illusions. Hopefully, you got something out of that. I'm going to play that, and we'll see you on Supernatural Inc. When Spirits Connect.